everybody, and welcome back to Coffee Connections Insights with Innovators. We're talking to nonprofit innovators in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Seth Weiner, and I am your Rocktioneer. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's gorgeous outside. I'm not looking here. I'm looking at this beautiful sky. All I want to do is go and run. I swear, I turn into Forrest Gump in the spring. I mean, whatever, you know? I mean, it's beautiful outside, and I go run. And I'm excited about it because it is gorgeous outside. And as you're thinking about outside, think about hosting your next event outdoors. People are getting vaccinated. Johnson & Johnson is making its way. And I'm not saying that it's time for everyone to get together, swap spit, and do whatever. No, keep your social distance and be smart about things, but don't be fearful. Move forward when you're comfortable. Do a virtual event for your fundraiser. Do a hybrid event, whatever is going to make your supporters comfortable and you comfortable, but don't give up on fundraising. Now's not the time. It's time to turn it on. Matter of fact, last weekend, I had the pleasure of hosting a fundraiser with the Jewish Community Center of Nashville, the Gordon JCC. Over 100 families were in attendance. It was all on Zoom. We had a little bit of an auction there, but it was a color war, and it went amazing. Everyone had a great time, and we raised a great amount of money and brought the community together, and the feedback, everyone had a really, really wonderful time. So don't Zoom fatigue. There's no Zoom fatigue when you do your auction or your gala or soiree, whatever it is. If you do it right, no fatigue. All right, but that's not why we're here today. We're here today for Coffee Connections, and we've got a great guest, Gwenyth Johnson. She is the CEO of Second Wind Dreams. She brings more than 10 years of experience with implementation of statewide programming for older adults with the Georgia State Unit on Aging. She also has more than 20 years working with health and wellness of an aging population. This includes experience working in long-term care facilities, which we know we're very well, we'll get there. We're going to talk about that, folks. And also with community service providers. She works across all programs within Second Wind Dreams. And, listen, she empowers her staff to change the perception of aging. So it's a true pleasure to welcome to the show Gwenyth here. Let me go ahead and move this around here, move this around here. And now, on the count of three, say hi to Gwenyth. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Gwenyth.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Before we get into stuff, this is Coffee Connections. We got to have a little coffee talk, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I have my
she's got a mug. Let's take a look at that. Whoa. Does that change color?
Mug.
Tell me about it.
So the TARDIS, when you put the hot water in, disappears from one side and appears on the other.
Ooh.
So I am a big Doctor Who fan. I can't help myself.
Who knew? You know who knew? An owl.
Yeah.
So Gwenyth, you like I take it you like coffee.
I adore coffee. Absolutely.
Now, based on the organization, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. You like coffee that's well aged?
I do, and
I knew it.
And roasted over time.
Wonderful. Well, so do you prefer your coffee pressed, like French press, or do you like a drip or a Keurig or whatever they call it? What's your go-to?
I like a drip coffee maker. Although when I'm camping, there is nothing like a French press in the woods.
This is true. I'm always impressed. I'm going to drop the puns. It happens. They're not always going to be good, but I'm feeling it today. I'm feeling punny.
Absolutely.
You know? Well, Gwenyth, I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over to you. Will you be so kind to tell everyone about Second Wind Dreams?
It would be my pleasure. Second Wind Dreams is an organization that started nearly 25 years ago. Next year is our 25th anniversary. And it all started because our founder, P.K. Bevel, a geriatric psychologist, was working in a nursing home and was approached by 92-year-old twins who said, "We really want an Elvis happy hour." And PK said, "Well, why not?" And that why not spirit is really what drives Second Wind Dreams. PK went to the doctor. She found out who could have champagne, who couldn't. She found an Elvis impersonator, and they had an Elvis happy hour. And that was the very first dream for Second Wind Dreams. Our mission here is to change the perception of aging. And that's critical because if we're lucky, we all get to age. And it should be a fabulous thing and not something that's feared or looked down upon. Now, we do that through two programs primarily. Our Dreams program, which was our initiating program, we fulfill dreams for older adults, particularly in long-term care settings. And those are dreams from the simple to the sublime, we like to say. It could be something like skydiving, or it could be a video chat with a loved one that you haven't seen in a while. All of those things, we involve the community to do dream discovery so that those who reside around nursing homes, assisted livings, and other types of long-term care, there's a decreased stigma around the organization. They create relationships with the individuals who live there. And those who have the dreams granted find lower depression scores, as do the residents who live around them. It brings up the entire atmosphere of the long-term care setting. Now, our second program is the Virtual Dementia Tour. It is our flagship experiential dementia training, and it's designed to help those who care for individuals living with dementia better understand what it is like to live with mid-stage dementia. And that is important because the stats show many people in this country and around the world will have dementia. We can create a person-centered way of life for them and improve quality of life while destigmatizing living with dementia. Just because you have a diagnosis does not mean you are still not part of society and that you have wants and dreams. And actually, with the Dreams program, one of our favorite things to do is to grant dreams for our sleeping dreamers, those who are living with dementia who may not have had that kind of interaction in a while. So those are our primary programs. We do some work that are ancillary to those, but our goal is always to improve the perception of aging and the quality of life for our elders.
That's beautiful. Now, I got to tell you, my dad's 85 and he doesn't have dementia.
Excellent.
His brother does, who's 91. Now, my Uncle Melvin, his brother, my dad jokes about it and says, Uncle Melvin's got the life. I go, why is that, Dad? He goes, he can watch the same movie every day just like he's never seen it.
Absolutely. We've got to look at this from the most positive perspective and remember that if we engage with individuals with dementia in a way that they can recognize, they're vital parts of society.
Well, talk a little bit about that, because most people probably think of dementia as almost like Alzheimer's, where these folks don't know who they are or don't remember, and it's not always it's a short-term memory. Is it a long-term memory? Is it always different? Like how does talk a little bit more about their process there?
Absolutely. So there are multiple kinds of dementia. They tend to have some things in common, and that would be some memory loss. But also, as the brain changes throughout the process, it can mean difficulties communicating. It can mean loss of physical acuity. So as the brain changes, it may not be telling your hands how to operate a fork or things like that. So what we try to focus on is, as the brain changes, how do we create micro wins for the individual living with dementia throughout the day? How do we empower them? And how do we focus on the abilities they still have? Part of that is understanding who they are and who they have been their entire lives. Being person-centered and being empathetically person-centered means that we really understand the individual. If someone lives in a nursing home and they worked as a night watchman, asking them to sleep at night may be something that is just outside reasonable scope. A dear friend told me a story once about a gentleman who was in that situation. The nursing home staff realized this and included walking around the nursing home to do checks in the evening, and the gentleman acclimated to his new setting. So really finding out who people are. If someone isn't able to use a fork any longer, and it may not be that they don't have the dexterity, it may be that their brain isn't telling their hand how to do that anymore. Maybe switching to finger food so that they're still able to feed themselves. Mm-hmm. Autonomy is something that's very important to all of us. And if we remember that when we're working with older adults and individuals living with dementia, we improve the quality of their life greatly.
Yeah, no, it was interesting to me when I know folks with dementia that get injured, so like say hip replacement, mm-hmm. they forget essentially that they had that surgery, and they don't know where they are, even though they've probably been in the rehab for weeks at a time, mm-hmm. and it's scary. It's a scary thing because they're trying to get up and they're actually re-injuring themselves in the process of healing. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about but it's an interesting point you bring up, though, is to find not similarities, but find things that they would just be that are already habits to them, and mm-hmm. and to embrace that and as a way of healing or a way of giving them comfort. So that's really interesting. I haven't thought of that. So thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit more about the dreams, though.
Absolutely.
What are some of let's start with what are some of the most creative or fun, or just some of the dreams that you can share? You mentioned the Elvis one.
The Elvis one is fantastic, and that's our first dream. So it's always my favorite story. We had a lady, I think it was in 2018, and all she wanted was to play with kittens. You'd think that would be the easiest thing in the world, but it took a lot of planning. She needed a medical assistant to travel with her. And so we found medical transport. And then we worked with a local animal shelter, and she was able to go there and spend the day in the kitten room. And she talks about it constantly. So it made a huge difference. And it also brought some media attention to the animal shelter too. So we were able to really combine things there. We had a lady who really wanted to write a book. And so our staff worked with her, and she has a book on Amazon now. It is just a short work, but she is now a published author, and that was a dream of hers. And then we have things like heart and soul dreams. So during the pandemic, it's been really difficult to get face-to-face with people to do dream discovery. Or if they want to do something outside of their residential site, how do we make that happen? It's been very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But there are ways to fulfill dreams that aren't necessarily the big ones and still engage. So we have heart and soul dreams, which can be anything from art supplies to providing tablets so that older adults can communicate with their families or with each other.
Good luck training them how to use that, by the way.
That's been interesting, but the staff has been fantastic. And
that's good. Allowing
for the communication is critical.
Yeah. How many, what's your reach? I mean, are you working with specific nursing homes? Is it, or you said, I don't say nursing homes, but assisted living or elder communities? Is it like a small group, or is it a very wide network?
We are actually nationwide. Mm-hmm. So we reside here in the Metro Atlanta area, and our most concentrated reach is here. But we have dreams and dream members in California and Texas and Wisconsin. We have partners. We have a great group in Kentucky that operates in Henry County, Kentucky through the Extension Service. And they just granted their 500th dream this year. So it really is about the grassroots effort. We're facilitators, but we bring all the people together to make it happen, and to make it happen everywhere we can.
Mm-hmm. It's funny to talk to you today because I was talking to a friend that's a musician who's now in her 40s, and she was saying, gosh, she was looking at like these videos of her playing when she was 20, and she's only in her 40s, not that old. But she's like saying, well, what did I missed out on. I should have kept my dream of playing the way I was, and I shouldn't have went in this direction. And I was like, You're in your 40s. I mean, even in your 80s, it's not too late. If you want to pick up the guitar in your 80s and you never have, then pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
you just, and so it's funny to talk to you because I think that's a very similar spirit there. Just, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still do it.
It doesn't. And it's so good for us to pick up new things as we age. Every time we learn something new, we create new neural pathways. And the more we do that, the healthier our brain is. So being adventurous every year of your life is a fantastic thing, not only for your spirit, but for your health. And, I teach hula hooping for 40-plussers. And we did it in senior centers. I really want to encourage people to play and try new things and never let a number limit us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially number 1, because that's what we all are, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, these dreams, they cost money. How does Second Wind afford to do this? Where does the funding come for Second Wind?
Well, we are very lucky. The Virtual Dementia Tour helps to fund some of them. But
people
we
can
also
experience that at secondwind.org, right?
We can experience it here, but we also have partners across the nation and around the Atlanta area who provide the Virtual Dementia Tour.
Oh, wonderful.
And we use it as a training method for in nursing homes so that the staff is offering the very best care possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some revenue that supports the dreams there, but we also have e-dreams. So if a dream comes up, we'll post it on our website and individuals can go and see which dreams are out there and fund a specific dream that's of interest to them. We also have donors who provide regular monthly donations. We apply for grants on a regular basis and work with foundations. So we've tried to really diversify how we support this so that we can be here as long as possible for our elders.
That's great. I'm sorry. So with donations and whatnot, is it collective for the entire country, or are you regionalized or anything like that?
So for the e-dreams, we'll post a very specific dream, and it is the funding goes exactly to that dream. As we work with foundations, we may work with a specific region in the country to make sure that those things are funded based on the interest of that organization. We work with partner groups that are interested, like our Henry County group in Kentucky. In Atlanta, we have Jack and Jill Atlanta, which is a youth group, and they are funding dreams here in Atlanta for A.G. Rhodes.
Oh, that's sweet. I can imagine the kiddos having a good time participating in that in some way.
That intergenerational mixing is such a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we find all different ways to do this. And if someone from a specific community comes to us with a desire to support or with a dream, we connect them to people in their own communities to fund, and then we help them fundraise.
Oh, that's great. So it's not, so as an organization, all the fundraising is coming in to one place and going out. It's not, your New York branch or.
No, we are here in Atlanta, and everything comes in here, and then we administer that. It allows us to really stretch the dollars to provide even more dreams than if each individual organization had to do so.
And when you go and you do a dream in one location, does the facility come to you and say, we want dreams for everyone?
Sometimes, yes. Now it does take time and energy to do dream discovery, so that will slow things down a little bit. But we have dream memberships. So an organization may come to us and become a dreams member, and then we work with them throughout the year. The goal is granting a dream a month.
I like that. Dream a month club.
Exactly.
So there's that, what's the dream? There's little bottles, just like, and the 5-hour energy drink, but it's the dream one. They should sponsor you all.
Yes,
putting
they
it out
should.
to the universe.
I will have to look them up.
I'll find it. I'll send it to you. But gosh, that would be, they should sponsor dreams. It just makes sense. Well, this is great. I love what you all do. I love the energy behind it, and the, where can someone find the so with the dementia piece though, if someone finds out that like their parent or their loved one has dementia, you would suggest that they find that course that you talked about so they can experience ways to cope and deal.
Well, and they're welcome to reach out to us. We can help connect them with someone in their area that's providing services. And I always try to remember the entire aging network because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many of us that do work to support aging and caregivers. No one organization can do that alone.
No, not at all. And that's another question I have is I'm wondering what some of the other organizations you might work with. I think one that comes to mind, a recent guest, the Jewish Family Services was one, and I'm wondering if there's any connection with them and you all, if you ever done any work together.
Absolutely. Actually, I was a keynote for them last year at one of
Uh-huh.
their family events, and we have done the virtual dementia tour for them. Um, there's all different types of groups. So we work
Mm-hmm.
with nursing home associations, assisted living associations, the individual groups leading age. But we also work with our area agencies on aging, those local community organizations that are in every single state that help people who are still living in the community to find the resources that they need and find what's specific to them. They also support caregivers. So they're an important piece of the pie when we're talking about how to manage all of this.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to go back a little bit. I mean, to what a year ago, right? I mean, when COVID hit, it hit the nursing homes and the elderly community like just awful. We all know this,
It did.
especially those in New York. But we're not going to go there. Here, I'm curious to know. I imagine things changed so much. Can you talk a little bit about how you dealt with the change when it came, and where things, just kind of walk us through where things went and where they are and where they're going?
Absolutely. So a lot of what we do is face to face, and that changed immediately. Um, the virtual dementia tour is face to face, and so we've come up with some web trainings that kind of fill the gap until we can get back with people face to face. And we've implemented some additional cleaning protocols and safety. For the dreams, it was a difficult thing because dream discovery is normally done in person. The dreams are normally in-person activities. But what we found, and this was the best part of 2020 for me, is that when we put the call out for virtual volunteerism, everyone responded. We have a program called Cards of Light, and normally we do it around holidays, but it can happen anytime. Last year, 20,000 cards went out to older adults in nursing homes and to the care staff in those nursing homes, just cheering them on and providing a little bit of smiles in their lives.
Oh, that's
And
sweet. Yeah.
there were over 700 volunteers and volunteer groups that stepped up to do that over the course of the year. Um, so
My son's school did something like that. I don't know if it was I wonder if it was with you all now. I'll have to follow back up. But the Waldorf school, they did a class project where they all wrote to nursing homes and they got like a little bio on people and then wrote something to them. So it's not a pen pal directly, but it was more of just a reach out, card.
absolutely. Um, it's it's been heartwarming to see how people respond when they feel they can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They have been stepping up. Um,
Did the dream fulfillment slow down a lot, or were you able to continue?
we're still continuing dreams, different types. So we've had organizations step up to provide paint by number dreams.
Oh.
I think we sent out 12,000 of those. Gifts of light. We had more nursing homes served this year than we did pre-COVID. And those are donated gifts and our shopper elves and delivery elves that go out and take gifts to nursing homes where people don't necessarily have family members or the ability to receive gifts. We've had packets of coloring books and craft packages and all kinds of things like that going out. We've also had volunteer parades that go through the parking lot and celebrate the individuals who are living there, as well as chalk art on the windows and even now I'm going to blank on the name, but
Oh,
hug
that's
tunnels, so that hugs can happen, but in a sanitary fashion. So all kinds of things have continued to happen. We just altered what some of them were.
uh-huh. Well, that's wonderful. Well, is there anything that you've got coming up, or anything else you want to share that maybe we didn't talk about here today?
We actually are doing a series of caregiving conversations over the course of this year, and we'll have that posted on our website. And they're just conversations. This next one is March 25th, and we're talking about, from a caregiver standpoint, taking your loved one to medical appointments or to get the vaccination, and some of the things that come up, and through the course of the conversation, kind of crowdsourcing the answers to what we do.
Ah, that's great. Well, as someone who has an 85-year-old father, that is very useful. So, well, cool. Well, thanks so much for your time today and sharing about Second Wind Dreams. Folks, I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to tell you again, right there on the window, you see it there. Just go ahead and go to secondwind.org, learn about the organization, and as always, consider making a donation if you can. Get involved if you can, volunteering. It sounds like there's lots of different ways to get involved. So, Gwenyth, thank you so much. Before I let you go, though, I always ask my guests to recommend a future guest for Coffee Connections. Is there someone that you'd like to recommend, an Atlanta nonprofit innovator?
Absolutely. Matthew Piper is the executive director for Open Hand Atlanta, and it is a Meals on Wheels organization. It is a very creative organization, and he's an innovator all over the place. So it's my pleasure to recommend him.
Yeah, I'd very much like to. I look forward to that conversation, especially now that I'm actually working on getting Meals on Wheels for my father in South Florida. But awesome. Well, folks, please do visit the website. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday. Gwenyth, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, bye, everyone.